When we arrived in July 2021, we were given 4 major roles to conduct combat operations to dislodge insurgents from all their strongholds in Palma and Mocimboa da Praia at the time. The major stronghold was in Mocimboa da Praia. Others were small pockets along the way. So we carried out two operations, one from the north, the northern axis, and another from the central axis. From the northern axis, we came from Afungi, here, this town, and Palma, and we went down south through the towns of Maputo, Kirimane, 1st May, until we captured the port city of Mocimboa da Praia. And then the central axis came from Mweda to Diaka, from Diaka to Awase, where we were yesterday, from Awase to Momo, Mototwe, Manila, until we joined the forces that were coming from the north to capture the port city of Mocimboa da Praia. So once we dislodged insurgents from the 2 axes, we were able to, to flush them out of Mocimboa da Praia, and they shifted to a place called Mbau. It's a forest along the way to Macomia district. Yeah, so we conducted operations within 1 month. We were able to flush them out of both the the districts of Palma and Mocimboa da Praia. So they crossed the Mesaro River and went to the district of Macomia at a place called Katupa. It's a forest, big forest. Yeah, so we began to work hand in hand with the SADC forces, and we carried out a number of operations in that forest. We were quite successful. We dislodged them from the forest as well, but there are few remnants because it's a very big forest that stretches from Macomia to Maidumbe. We hear that there are several small skirmishes within that area, but our entire operational zone is cleared of insurgents. Now we are conducting security operations to ensure that the insurgents do not occupy any of our areas. The third activity is stabilization, to return civilians to their homes, and lastly, to carry out security sector reforms, which is what we are currently doing. We are training the forces of the Mozambican army in order to capacitate them, to bring them to a level of training that they will be able to operate on their own when we leave. It wasn't easy. We had to put pressure on the enemy wherever. We did not give the enemy, the insurgent, Ansar al-Sunna wa Jamaa terrorists, breathing space. We followed on. We pursued them using, our resources, all our resources. What I can say is that if you want to defeat such an insurgent, you don't give them breathing space. You just keep operating, because they operate in small groups, and the only way you can deal with them is to deny them access to the population, which we did effectively, and pursue them wherever they go. So our forces have been very consistent in that. We believe that in order for you to maintain the status quo, you have to be effectively trained, and that is why we have undertaken the task of training the Mozambican forces in order for them to get the requisite skills to respond to future threats from such terrorist groups. Basic training, marksmanship, targeting and ambushes, special operations, airborne operations, mountain operations, jungle warfare. All those are tactics that are, trained. Of course, map reading and, So Basic training is general. Everybody goes through this type of training. We've trained the first cohort of Mozambican forces. Just about a week ago, we graduated about 154 officers and men, who I believe are the first cohort, but we shall train more as time goes on. Oh yes, it does. It does quite a lot. One is that they look at the way we operate, and they will probably do the same when we leave. That's one. Two, even the public, the population, seeing both of us, both our forces together, creates that confidence, because I think it's important that we build trust on both sides. So when we work with them, the public gets more confidence in our joint forces. So I believe it's working. It's working quite a lot. We always carry out, it's not the first time that we carry out joint operations. So we'll keep on operating. Whenever we hear that a small group has, organized, we don't provide a specific date and time for which to operate. And that is the beauty with surprise attacks. So we'll be able to deal with those groups. There are not so many as you mentioned. Small elements that are actually trying to show that they have survived, that they are alive. And I think by attacking a small village or an individual on the street or somewhere in the village, they want to prove that they are still alive, and that's their modus operandi. But to a large extent, these insurgents have been controlled. The final stage, which is security sector reform, does not have a specific time frame, because we need to capacitate the forces, we need to build confidence. So whenever they graduate, they come to the theater and work with us, and hopefully in the years to come, they will be able to operate on their own.